Welcome back. In this episode we're going to make the image tiles for our game. So I'm currently in the parent directory for our whole project, 2048 Java, and we have bin and source, and I put a readme.md file for GitHub, and we're going to make a new folder called images, and within that folder we'll make another folder called GIMP and another folder called PNG. And we're going to start GIMP, which is the image program that we're going to use. Now, using the file menu, I'm going to start a new project at 256 by 256 pixels. Now, first we're going to make the tile for the number 1. The number 1 tile we'll make gray, so 888888. And we'll fill this tile. And we'll make it large enough so we can see what we're doing. So I've got the background already. And now I'm going to make the number 1. Alright, we've made the number 1. And I've got to find a way to change the font. Which I'm not, oh, here we go. We have the font menu over here. Change this to 72, 100, 200, 215, 250, 300, no, 275, 275 looks about right. Now I'm going to change the font. Okay, I found a font in GIMP that I like, Liberation Mono Bold Italic. This will work. I just need to make sure that the number is at least roughly centered. I'm going to save this file under GIMP as tile01.xcf, and I'm going to export it. I guess save as, and it's a PNG image. So we've exported this as a PNG, and I'm going to make it smaller. The actual size we want our images to be in the end will be 64 by 64. So we're going to scale the image down to 64. And we'll save it as tile01_64. And just to make sure that was correct, I'm going to open my folder here. Okay, I like the way this is turning out. This is what the tile will look like. And we'll go ahead and close this, and I need to open up the original XCF file. I'll make the 2 tile. And then go into the background and change that color to something else, probably red for number 2. I like that. fill the background. I'm going to save this as tile 02. Scale this image to 64. And save a copy of it so I don't have to reopen it as tile02_64.png. That just saved the copy, so if I Control Z and make this big again, I can just edit everything and keep exporting the 64 imaged. I like to edit image files at a bigger resolution than I'm actually going to use them. So the next number we have to do is number 4, which I'll make orange. And this will be 4. And I will save this as tile 04. Scale it down to 64. And save a copy as tile4_64.png. And then undo the sizing. Now, after 4 is 8, and I guess we'll continue this pattern and make this one yellow. I've got to make sure I select, this is off the screen normally, but I have to select the correct layer when I'm filling. So the background changed to yellow, and that's not good enough, so that's too bright. So I'm going to scale it down to BB00. That's a little bit better. And this is the 8 tile. So I'm going to save this as tile08.xcf and scale the image down to 64. Save a copy as tile08_64.png. And undo the sizing. Now on to 16. At some point we'll have to start making our font smaller because it won't fit on the whole tile. First, let me change the color. The color for 16 should be, let's try BBFF00. See what that looks like. A green. Maybe I should make it a little bit darker. 88BB, what does that look like? It's a yellow green. Let me make it not too dark, so I want to make the next one darker green. So AADD. That's a good color. Oh, it's actually a really horrible color, but it'll work for 16. No one likes 16 that much. Oops. 16. And now we'll have to do some removing here. And some font change. Let's try 200. That is too small. 250. Too big. 225. If I expand this, I don't want to make it touch the edges that closely, so 215. And that should work. Let me make this a little bit bigger so I can get a better feel for if it's at least remotely centered, which it's not. It needs to come down a little bit. And it's still too wide, so I'm going to bump it down to 210. No, I'll just go all the way down to 200. And I'm trying to see if I feel like it's centered enough. I'll move it down just a little bit more. That's centered enough, so I'm going to save this as tile 16. And scale it down to 64. And save a copy as tile 16 underscore 64.png. And then undo the sizing. Okay, time to change the color again. The color for 32 will be 008800. And the text will change to 32. And we'll save this as tile 32.xcf and scale it back to 64 again. You can see this is kind of a repetitive process. And save a copy as tile 32 underscore 64.png. I have to do 64s now. I'll make that cyan. Unless that's too bright, I'll probably have to soften that down to B's. The text will change to 64. And we'll save this as tile 64.xcf. Image, scale image down to 64 pixels. Save the copy, tile 64 underscore 64.png. For 128, we're going to have to scale down the font size again, but first let's change the color to 88 BBFF, sort of a sky bluish color. It's not too light, but I'll darken it a bit. I'll make it 6688 BB. See what that looks like. That's a little better. Or, I don't know, that's fine too. We'll go with this. We have to change the text to 128, and we'll have to reduce the font once again. Let's go to 170. Not enough. 150. Not enough. 125. Too much. 135. That looks good. And move it up a tad bit. That will do for the 128 tile. So save this as tile 128.xcf. Scale it down to 64. Save a copy as tile 128 underscore 64.png. I really should have, I did tile 01 for the first one. I should have done 0001 so I wouldn't have to have inconsistent file name lengths, but live and learn. I could rename them if I need to. Tile 128 underscore 64.png. So that's good. Undo the sizing. The background for the next one, 256, I'll make it dark blue. And the text, change to 256. Save this as tile 256.xcf and scale it down again to 64. And save a copy as tile 256 underscore 64.png. I think you noticed the pattern by now. We only have 2 more to do. The next one, the background will be BB00FF, a pink, or rather purple, too bright, 8800BB, better. The text, 512, I'll do 515, that'll confuse people. Save this as 512, of course, not 215. Scale the image down to 64, not 34, 64. Save a copy as tile 512 underscore 64.png. That should have been 10 numbers, and we have one more to do. The background for this final one, that will be too bright, BB00BB. That's a little darker than I want. Let's go with DD00DD. That's good. And the text will have to be downsized once again, 1024. Let's try that at 100. That's good. We'll save this. While we're here trying to save this, let me just count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we had 10 of these. And now making 1024 will be the 11th, and that's correct because there's 11 numbers from 1 to 1024 if you include both in the power of 2 sequence that we're doing. So save this. Scale it down to 64. Save a copy. I think I accidentally saved the big file the wrong way. I'm going to replace what I just did. So let me look at this folder, and we have the PNG file for 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. And then this random big one. So that's really all we need to do for this episode. Next episode, we will actually get a graphical user interface going. All we'll do next episode is bring up a box that's the right size, have the layout and everything set up, and then after that we'll go into putting these images we just made onto that layout and moving them around with input from the user.